The Lions don't have a great defense.
No.
Now, they've been performing much better, but I think that's one of the things that fans have a hard time wrapping their arms around with this team is they're winning, which is great, and they're finding ways and their comebacks, and they obviously have a great deal of
But they have no
heart.
wow. They have no wow factor.
Right, they have nothing to hang your hat on, I guess.
And I've always been, one of those been accused of liking the sizzle more than the steak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm appreciating the steak this year because the steak tastes damn good. The sizzle gets you nowhere, and they don't have much sizzle.
By the way, that whole phrase needs to be thrown out.
Oh, whatever.
No, but not you. I'm saying in general. Who likes sizzle? What is that? Everybody likes steak more than sizzle.
Well, no, a lot of people get wowed by, great highlights and all that kind of stuff. It's the wow factor.
No, I understand I get I get what you're trying to say. I'm saying the actual phrase,
Okay.
like, one in hand is better than two in the bush. I get that. I know what that means because you have one as opposed to going for sizzle. There's not a single person out there to say, excuse me, Mr. Stone, would you prefer the sizzle or the steak?
Well,
Everybody
it would be
take the
gristle.
steak.
It would be gristle or steak.
Yeah, exactly. Gristle or steak.
Well, everybody likes steak better than gristle, but it's sizzle. It's the flash.
The flash. Who cares? We get those table-side steak services or something.
Now you're taking it too literally.
Let's go to Maurice in Detroit on 97.1 The Ticket. What's up, Maurice?
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, Mo.
Good. I won't dare say that daunting phrase, the SOL. But I think
Maurice, how dare you?
At this point, I think what's most important is that, like you said about the sizzle and the steak, Detroit Lions are a steak that's not done, that probably looks good done. And what I mean by that is every game this year, they've gradually improved some part of their weakness, and they've taken the game from the opponent. I'm saying that because teams like the Dallas Cowboys, who I believe is a soft 11-2 team, they're, like LA said, that's a winnable game. And I say that for the reason of their competitive nature and depth. I don't believe that Jim Bob Cooter called a real good game yesterday. I think Matthew Stafford and the defense just pulled the game out. And that's more credit due to Matthew Stafford and the depth that Bob Quinn has on this team. So that's what people do not talk about. Our depth is much improved. So when you get into schematics and rotational players and situational football, your depth outlasts the other team's depth. And that's kind of been the case in the NFC North.
Well, actually, the depth has been mentioned this season, and because we talked about it, what a good job Bob Quinn has done is getting guys who have stepped in, and when there's been injuries, they haven't exactly missed a beat, so to speak. They've actually, played pretty well, the reserves.
The interesting thing, too, about Stafford, and he talked about how he didn't think Jim Bob Cooter called a particularly good game yesterday. Their offense is actually not that great.
No, it's not.
I mean, it really isn't that good. They have done enough to win, but statistically, in virtually every category, with the exception of completion percentage and passer rating, of which Stafford is both very high, and that's great, but across the board, they're not some prolific offense.
They're pretty good at time of possession. At least it seems lately they have.
Mm-hmm. But that goes against the other a lot of 3 and outs. Right. So I don't think this is a team, like the 2011 playoff team, that was a team with all offense and no defense.
Correct.
And then the team a few years ago that went to the playoffs, they had this ridiculous defense, thanks in large part to Ndamukong Suh, that was, second or third in the league in total defense. This team has neither one of those things, but they all, as I sit here and say they have no glaring strength, they also have no glaring weakness. Their pass defense looked like it was, but the last few weeks has gotten better and better and better, and not just against lousy quarterbacks. They did that against Drew Brees as well.
Their running game is kind of a weakness, although this past week, yesterday, they rushed for over 100 yards. Washington and Zenner did a nice job.
You're right. I stand corrected. The running game is a weakness, but it's never felt so detrimental to me. Like in years past when they couldn't run the ball, you could just see teams pinning their ears back and coming right after Stafford. You don't see that as much, and maybe it's because the offensive line's doing a better job. 248-539-9797. Jamie and Stoney continues next on 97.1 The Ticket.